Oh, it's a Freeform Friday edition of Life Without Sports. The beauty of this show is it's always a Freeform Friday because it's Groundhog Day.
It's
Everybody.
Groundhog
How
Day.
are you?
It's quarantine day.
It's Quarantine Day. Yes, we do have to change the name to Quarantine.
Yeah.
He's Mike Pacheco. I'm Jam Meterparel.
Nice.
We kid because we love.
That's right.
The good thing about Mike Pacheco today was he started the show by stopping camera one.
Yeah.
Our technical producer Ben Meterparel is flummoxed, and he said, "Wait a minute, I gotta hold." I'm like, "What's wrong, Mike?" There's a bee on Mike Pacheco's leg.
Yeah.
And it could have been a ferocious biter.
Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna let the people see this giant carpenter bee. The crazy thing, it's like, I don't know what the proper term is, but it kept probing me with what looked like possibly its tongue. So
well,
it wasn't.
Now we're talking.
Oh, it was climbing up the leg. And finally, I said, "Listen, you either gotta buy me dinner or get out of here."
Yeah. You ever see the Bee movie?
The Bee movie.
Seinfeld.
Speaking of Seinfeld, right from yesterday.
Yeah. And now we're talking about the birds and the bees.
The birds and the bees.
It was impressive. That bee was an impressive bee, wasn't it, folks?
He was.
You could tweet us if you really enjoyed watching the bee at Mike Pacheco81 and at Beats Tweets.
Yeah, and we do have to tell people, I don't have a graphic for it yet. I guess I could probably make it on the fly. But if you want to email us.
The show. You have one thing only to pay attention.
But you can email the show, too, now. It's lifewosports@gmail.com.
Life, W-O, Sports.
So Life Without Sports.
How do you spell W-O?
W-O.
Do you ever find yourself, was that another Seinfeld, the stupid pills?
Oh, my gosh.
Do you find yourself dumber during this quarantine?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair, right? I mean...
I think it is.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just speaking from my own experience. Not saying that you're dumb, but...
No.
I feel like my IQ has dropped considerably in the last month.
Well, because we're kind of like... we're out of our routine. There it is right there. You can't see it, John, but it's right in the middle of our screen at lifewithoutsports.com. If people want to check out our email us.
LifeWOsports.com.
Yeah, that's a like a letter O, not a zero.
Okay, see, that's important. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, letter O.
But I'm at a point now where I feel like I woke up today like, okay, I think it's Friday, which means I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Which means I don't really care what day it is.
Right.
I love everybody says, "Oh, have a good weekend." Nah, it's going to be like the same as the 5 days I just spent.
It is funny. I mean, I've had people say, like, "Yeah, so what are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "What do you mean? What am I doing? I don't even know what day tomorrow is." It's funny. I mean, it really feels, in some respects, for us, because you and I aren't working, in a lot of respects, it feels like sometimes when you're on vacation, and you just feel like, today Wednesday? What's today? It's Thursday? Now, we do know, we have verified that today's, in fact, Friday.
Yes, it is Friday.
And, of course, later in the show, we'll debut our Friday feature of what happened today, and not necessarily what happened today, but what happened on this day. And we'll get to that a little bit later. Some interesting stuff happened today in history.
So I like that. Now,
I've whetted the appetite.
Whetted my appetite. You add an ED to that? I usually don't like those initials, but I'll go there with that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is that a good segue into our Joe Buck story?
Yes. This is it, folks. This is called synergy.
Yeah.
This is Life Without Sports on a synergistic level.
Well, in the premise of Life Without Sports, besides giving us something to do for the pandemic, is John and I will have these marathon phone calls where we just cover A to Z, and we decided why don't we just make a podcast out of that. So this is essentially what we do every day. This is
it. This is our lives, folks.
Yeah.
You could cry with us too,
right?
Virtually,
right?
Knowing that this is your life. But the Joe Buck story, which was brought to my attention by the aforementioned Ben Meterparel.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what website he was looking at, but he did tell me that Joe Buck was offered $1 million by a certain porn website to narrate live action porn.
Yeah.
And that got me to thinking.
Yeah.
What an interesting quandary.
Right.
for those of us, a dilemma. For those of us like Mike Pacheco and yours truly, who dabble in play-by-play, would they be intrigued by this offer?
It is intriguing.
Go ahead.
For $1 million bucks?
It's on a team for you.
Yeah, I thought his response was, classic Joe Buck, but really funny. He said, depending on what site it is, I might have to give them some of their money back. Or I'm probably giving them the money back. That was a good line. Yeah.
I give him credit for that.
Yeah.
That was a very good line.
It's trying times, right?
Yes.
You got to make a buck.
Gonna make a buck,
right?
I don't think they're gonna offer you and I $1 million.
Yeah,
but, I do have the 4-letter network on my resume.
Yeah, it would probably be like $750 for us.
I was gonna say, all right, what's our cutoff?
$75,000.
I thought you were gonna say $75.
No, I'm not that cheap.
75.
I mean, I'm a cheap date, but not that cheap.
Deal. I think just from a pure comedic standpoint, it would be hilarious.
God, yeah. Well, you know who'd be great at it? Actually, you know what they should do? If this hasn't already been done, I would go straight to Hank Azaria and have Brockmeyer do it.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Brockmeyer's, his four play-by-play guys he uses as Brockmeyer.
Yeah.
Primarily Harry Carey's inspiration.
Yeah. Reminds me of the time I was in a Polynesian whorehouse. Here comes the 1-1.
Here comes the 1-1.
I mean, don't you agree? Like him doing that as Brockmeyer would be genius.
Oh yeah. Well, he could do it. He could call a baseball game while he's calling, the live porn match. It would be, hilarious.
Oh, here comes the Cleveland Steamer.
Exactly. Well, there's a dribbler to shorten the hole.
Oh man, this definitely will be under the not safe for kids tab today. So just if you're wondering,
the mature audience.
Yeah, this might be a mature audience only. This might be PG-17.
This is there's so many double entendres.
Oh my god, absolutely. Yeah.
Like you and I could be a pair.
Yeah.
I'll do play-by-play for 10 minutes, and you can take color, and then you do play-by-play, and I'll take color.
That's one way to look at it, I guess.
We'll split the $750. I think, Mike, we got to be onto something here.
Oh my God, I don't know if I could do it with a straight face.
They are taking applications.
I know, that's hilarious.
They're soliciting applications. So I think, what's it going to take?
Jane's the classic farm girl from Iowa, John.
She was reared by her Uncle Leo on a farm with pigs. Speaking of pigs, man, she has to deal with that.
Oh, man, that would be something. Somebody's going to have a lot of fun with that, I tell you that.
I know we have a bunch of play-by-play viewers out there, including, Josh Wetzel, Matt Swearad, Matt Park.
Yeah.
We're talking reputable people in the business.
Right. But
I want one person to take the bait.
Yeah.
Just one. That's all we're asking, Mike.
That's all right. Just one, take the bait. Let us
take the bait.
Yeah. Let us get through this pandemic together.
Exactly.
It's your broadcaster duty.
It is.
Help bring back. Yeah. Bring back America.
Bring back America. Let's reopen the country.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Oh, me. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the after show might be better than the.
The after show would be tremendous. I'm wondering if they bring you on set to do it, or you're sitting in a studio.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, is it like kind of how they do, like some stuff when they'll actually like have an event, and then they'll bring the people in to like do the play-by-play and color afterwards? That might be a safer way to go.
See, I think I might want the authentic experience of actually, first of all, maybe being there. Second of all, just to get the atmosphere.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like what they say. It's going to be tough to call a game.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to be doing that in a dark room, right? I mean, you kind of want to be, get the whole experience.
I did Japanese baseball in a studio, and that was hard enough.
Yeah.
I felt like I was Brockmire at times.
Yeah.
I'll have to give you some of those stories at one point.
Oh, yeah.
There was a broadcaster who is pretty well known now who actually was calling one of those games. I was not with him, but he fell asleep during a half inning.
Was it Mike Francesa? Is that what that was?
No, this was with Sweetie Murray.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the best clips ever.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
But this guy, because we used to call games, it was 2 a.m.
Right. It's 2 in the morning.
We were sitting in a studio in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And it was a Saturday night.
Yeah.
This poor guy, no one's with him. They're like, nudge him.
Right. Say, oh, my God.
Wake up. It's a 2-1 pitch. The good thing is it's TV.
It's TV, so, if you don't say anything for a little bit, it's okay.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. So how did he just, wake up and realize he hadn't been talking for a while?
It was just, I guess the producer walked out of the room, because it's such a long game. Producers walk in and out as long as everything's going all right. And then this guy, one of the producers, left and finally came back in and was like, hey,
gotta get up.
Like had to jar him with his IFB.
Yeah.
But I don't blame him. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, but this is anything but sleeping. I mean,
if you fall asleep during that, then and maybe afterwards you fall asleep. But
yeah, afterwards it's like we're talking pulsating. No pun intended. Exciting.
Pulsating. Probing.
Pulsating.
Yeah. That would be riveting. It would be riveting. Now, what do you think would be a good broadcast network for that? Would that be that's got to be Showtime?
It's got to be...
Or like Cinemax.
Pay-per-view, Showtime.
Yeah.
Skinemax.
Yeah. That's where I was leading into that.
Skinemax.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that when you were a kid? The statute of limitations is up. You can admit if you did have it.
Did we have what?
Did you have Skinemax on your cable system?
We had HBO.
Oh.
We had HBO. But
you missed out.
But the word but when they had the free weekend trials, the word it went up the flagpole in Arlington and everybody knew that the preview weekend was happening.
Oh my God.
Showtime actually, Showtime and Cinemax at one time I think were pretty risque with their late night programming. It's I think it's really toned down. I think, right?
It's toned down, since they have been on the internet.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually in bed by 11, so.
Well, the best was I used to come home from a Weston High party, and it'd be a Friday night. My dad would wait up, and he'd be sleeping, and he'd be snoring in the chair next to me, and I'd be flipping around. Somehow I might have ended up on Skinemax.
Well, I think this is probably a safe admission now. I mean, it wasn't anything I did, but this would have been like 1991, doing the overnights at WHDH Radio, and we were connected to WHDH TV, which was Channel 7 at the time. And I guess they're still WHDH, right? Channel 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the time, they were...
used to be NEV.
Right. But they were at HDH, and I guess then they would have been the CBS affiliate, right? But anyway, that doesn't matter to this story. So, we had back then...
stories.
So, I don't know that we had cable, but we had the in-house satellite feed. So we did have cable, but we also had so I just remember flipping around one night. No, we did have cable, but one of the channels was the in-house, whatever they could dial up on the satellite. And it's late night TV, right? So it's infomercials, some late night movie, some sports. So I'm flipping around. This is probably 2:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden it cuts to this porn scene, and I'm like, "What the?" So I started. So next time I was with regular people, I was like, "Hey," it's flipping around, and all of a sudden this porno came on. And they're like, "Yeah, that happens every now and then." It's like, whoa, all right. So Master Control is pretty busy right now.
Master Control.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't it was. I just remember being. I was so nervous back then too. I was like, someone's gonna walk in. I can't watch this.
Oh,
but it was.
I would have been throwing the clicker away, hands off.
You would have locked the door.
No thumbprints. Let me guess. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Shannon Tweed was in that movie. The wife of Gene Simmons.
No, this was really hardcore. This wasn't
it wasn't the soft.
Yeah, this wasn't softcore. This was whoa. This was
we're talking like this is the kind you go into the back room of one of those video stores and ask for a paper bag.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Or they give you a paper bag.
Like, what was it, Jersey Girl, when Ben Affleck goes into the video store and he like just reaches behind the curtain and just grabs like, you know, so it's kind of like that.
Yeah, and then there's that Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie where he was addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting segue to our. I'm not sure where we go here, but you know, we can go deep in the hole again.
Yeah, very good.
Again, the beauty of life without sports.
That's right.
So I guess definitively, Mike and I are a maybe on that one, as long as they meet our price.
Yeah, it's got to be $1 million each.
I think if they came to us and say, hey, you know, hey, Meterparel, you want to do it for $625?
Yeah,
we could talk.
Yeah. Well, the question is, would you use your real name or your stage name?
No, my name would be Hugh Organ, probably.
Pat McGroin.
Pat McGroin, right. Yes, something you have to. Stu McCrevis.
Yeah.
Something like
John Holmes.
John Holmes, you know, yeah, exactly. You think that was his real name?
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't know. Could have been.
That is the funny thing. Name, but that's funny. I remember someone telling me, I had never really thought of this, but I guess a lot of people in Hollywood, like a lot of the behind-the-scenes people, like the technical people, the cameramen, stuff like that, like, you know, I guess to make ends meet, they'll work on porn, but they'll change their names too.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
Well, think about the industry before AIDS especially. But,
yeah.
I think recently California's had controversy there too because
they started wanting condoms.
Yeah, and that was a huge.
Yeah.
But you've been in that area, the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah,
and it's just wide regions of just studios.
It's wide open.
Wide open. Yes. Thank you very much.
Wide receiver, not a tight end.
Yes, very nice, Mikey.
The Valley. Nice, yeah, but you know, it is interesting how, like, you know, the internet has changed so many different industries, but it's really done a number on that industry too. You know, I mean, it's just in some positive, some negative.
Wild West.
Yeah. Because
I often say, thank God for the internet.
Yeah, but literally, I mean, you could essentially be your own, you know, star, director, producer, distributor.
Well, we wouldn't have this mess that we create every day.
Yeah, I don't think the missus would like that too much.
Oh my God, the best is you remember back in Charlotte when we started WFNZ, we both had pagers.
Yeah,
and I remember just getting pages from, you know, DJ Stout. Hi, DJ.
Yeah,
another loyal
viewer
here of the Life Without Sports. But Meet, where are you? We're at the scoreboard. Printing out my final script for my sports flash. You know, the show starts in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I got no shot. No shot.
Yeah, I'll do the first one in studio.
Exactly. It was always my usual MO.
But I think at one time, back in the video, but I think back in the videotape days, I think this was like a distribution center. Like, I think a lot of that stuff came here and it was replicated, like the mass. You know, it would be like, you know, obviously produced in like LA or Vegas or the Valley, and then I think they would ship it here and it would get like mass produced and then sent out to video stores and then, you know, out to sales and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think you know, we can go deep on the subject. There's no doubt about that. Not that we're experts, but I think you look around sports though, Mike, even though we don't have a life without it.
Yeah.
I think one of the main topics that popped at me was this whole Jalen Green situation.
Yeah.
You know, suddenly a household name.
Right.
For all college sports.
Right. Yeah. He's one of the top recruits out of California, basketball.
Out of Fresno. Yeah. Top recruit. You know, by all accounts, a one and done. You know, dynamic scorer.
They had him projected as possibly being the #1 draft pick in 2021.
Right. You know, kind of on the level of a not as powerful as Zion, but a really pure scorer.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different position, obviously.
Right.
There's a kid who's thinking about going to the G League.
Yeah.
And bypassing any form of college, going right to the G League and making almost $500,000 probably.
Yeah.
To train for the NBA.
Right.
and that's something that the NBA is, they're obviously behind it. It's their league,
right?
But the NCAA has to adjust. Now, the NCAA is always the problem I have with the NCAA and any organization that does this, similar to what, by the way, our federal government is doing. They are reacting. They're not proactive.
Right.
So the NCAA is not being proactive here.
Right. Well, to me, the biggest issue in all of this is, and I don't know if issue is the right word, but, I don't worry about, guys like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, possibly Jalen Green, like the upper echelon, the elite of the elite, the top, 1%. I don't necessarily have a problem with those guys going straight to the NBA. The issue becomes, and maybe, does the market dictate this? I don't know what the answer is, John, but, if you went to any of the 353 Division I men's basketball programs, you went into any one of their film sessions or locker rooms, and you asked the kids, hey, raise your hand if you think you're going to play in the NBA someday. I'm not kidding. Everyone's going to have their hand up. And that's great.
Right, even the 11th guy on the team.
That's what I mean. Like, and it's great to have that goal, and it's great to have that dream. And I never want to crush anyone's dream. You do have to be realistic sometimes. I worry about the kid that really has no shot at the NBA, but still goes that route. And some of those kids are role players that would be great pieces to a Power 5 championship team, or would have and still would have a great opportunity to play overseas. Again, this is, out of the 2008, 2009 economic collapse. I mean, things like Instagram, right, came out of that. I mean, there were some great innovations that came out of that. Maybe this is a good time for people to, put their thinking caps on and come up with a good solution. I think we all want to maintain what college basketball is, right?
But wouldn't the solution just be, I think sanctity's out the window. It always has been. The good teams in college basketball are the ones that get dirty and the ones that cheat a little bit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's basically, it's not like you hear that,
right,
but you know it.
But I think maybe the model for the NBA is, maybe you do combine a little bit of the baseball and the hockey, right? You say, all right, if you feel like you can come out and get signed by a G League team or get drafted by an NBA team, all right, go. They said, but then, once you, if you decide not to do that, then you have to, agree to either one, 2 or 3.
Yeah, you have the right to come back, or you know what, we're going to pay you. We're going to give you $10,000.
Well, I kind of and I think they should. I think so. That's where I think
you don't have to give them. You don't have to give them $500.
Right.
Even if I think you offer $10,000 is probably low, but even if you offer a little bit, the Jalen Greens of the world might be more inclined to go play for Mike Krzyzewski instead of going to the G League, or go play for John Calipari.
Now this probably doesn't make sense from an NBA perspective, but what if you did one of those deals where you draft a kid and then you have their rights until their junior year, right? But then at any time, like after the freshman year, after the sophomore year, after the junior year, the player can come out, and then maybe they get some sort of a bonus, like maybe they get like a $75,000 or $80,000 signing bonus, or give them some money up front, let them kind of have their college career. Now the negative to that is the NBA is going to say, wait a minute, why would I let someone develop my guy for 3 years when I'm paying him $80,000? So there has to be a little bit of what's the right word? I mean, it's I guess they'd have to want to
make it. You have to make it worth their while. You have to make it enticing. You have to say, the parents have to say, hey, you know what? Let's put off the $500, even though it's a lot of money. Right. At least throw you $25.
Right.
You're going to college. You're getting an education.
Right.
You got a year. Yeah. You got 3 left. I want you to get your degree. It's those types of kids who have an educational, rich, maybe background.
Yeah.
Aren't very, they don't. Socioeconomically, they're at a disadvantage.
But I think this thing is But what should scare the NCAA is the proposal that they would pay for college. Like the NBA is going to give you, the team would give you an NBA. The NBA team would give you a scholarship. You're playing in the G League. You can still go to school. And what does that mean? Does that mean the G League becomes more of like what the minor league system is now, except it's controlled by the NBA? There's not like an affiliation of minor league teams. And the one thing that's interesting about the G League is, and it's gotten better over the last couple of years. They're starting to bring better talent. They're keeping talent here, but guys can make more money playing. Paul. Yeah, but guys can make more money playing in the top leagues in Europe than they can playing in the G League.
Oh, you can make a lot of money in Europe. And guy I worked with for years, Danny Abrams, played there a long time.
Right. So
he almost made the Spurs. Didn't make the Spurs. Went overseas. Played 10 years and made a lot of money.
Well, and
also. Yeah, any number of guys that we know. Malcolm Huckabee is another example. Yeah. Guys, 7, 8 year, 9 year careers. They're not going to make $4 million a year. Right. But they're going to make a significant amount of money.
Right. Yeah, I would say this. I think it's getting the money's getting to the point where it's hard to say you can't let these kids earn a living as soon as they can and pass up that chance. It's harder and harder to say that. 30 years ago, I think you could make the argument like, hey, you're getting and I'm adjusting this for then money, not now money. But 30 years ago, if I said to you, John, you can have a Harvard education and you can play for the Harvard basketball team, I think you'd take that. I mean, now granted, Ivy League doesn't do it's different. That's probably not a good example, but maybe a Stanford
or you said Duke or
Duke or North Carolina or something. Yeah, I mean, right. and you're getting or BC, you're getting a good education, and you're going to play it at a high level. Now it's like. It's kind of that strike while the iron's hot deal. And from
it's the old scholarship. It's the old kind of feeling of oh boy, I got to go to Old State U.
Right.
It meant something.
Right.
To Danny Manning, let's say.
Sure.
It meant something. To Christian Laettner.
Right.
It meant something. To any of the greats that played the game. To Michael Jordan.
Right. Right. But but here's the thing, right? If you're on track to be able to sign a $5 or $10 million contract, and the team throws in. Yeah, we'll throw in another $200,000 to cover your education. That's gonna be tough for the NCAA to compete with. Now, I think that it's still. I mean, it'll draw some people away. So you're going to lose maybe your top 15 or 20 players, potentially, maybe more. But
it's going to be a significant enough hit to make the NCAA hopefully react. They should have been proactive because they saw this one coming, I'm assuming.
Right.
It happens every year. There's one or two guys. Last year it was Anthony Simons, who went to Portland, G League.
Yeah.
Darren Beasley was supposed to go to Syracuse.
Yeah.
He went to the G League. Two guys that were borderline NBA players. They both played a little bit.
Yeah.
Simons more so than Beasley, but there'll be two or three guys that challenge you.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's significant.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting because it's how much does it change the landscape? And we all love college basketball,
Right.
So it's the one thing about there's so much talent though playing basketball. I mean, I think the game would still, I think it would still generate interest. Maybe it takes a little bit of a hit, but I think the one thing is you're able to plan, right? Because these guys aren't going to be available. The bigger issue, though, is, and I go back and forth on this all the time, is the one-time transfer rule. I mean, I think that might have more of an impact than allowing the elite 20 players to go and play for the G League. Because how do you build a program?
It's also guys look at the examples of guys who prospered even after 1 year, which I don't like it. I think. I'm an old school guy. I love to hear a guy who stayed in school 3 years at least. But Jason Tatum clearly got much better under Mike Krzyzewski. Anthony Davis, even though he was very talented, still got better under John Calipari. Two recent examples.
Yeah.
Those types are going to need to be cited as, hey, this could be you if you give yourself a chance to play under Coach K or, play under. It could be as simple as Pat Kelsey at Winthrop.
Yeah, right.
Anybody.
Right.
Give yourself a chance to play in college. Bless you.
Thank you.
Those damn beat.
Yeah, it's the pollen.
It's the pollen. We don't deal with pollen in Boston. We're dealing with a possible snowstorm.
Really?
Oh God! Isn't that the worst?
Get the shovel out.
Yeah, it's April. It should be the spring.
Right.
It should be the birds are chirping. The bees are out. The pollen is out. You're sneezing like Mike Pacheco.
I'm sneezing like crazy.
I think it's just going to be a dusting, maybe an inch, but that's still annoying.
It's enough to be a pain in the neck. It's not. I mean, an inch is not. No, an inch would, in normal times, shut Charlotte down for 3 days. Inch of snow.
Oh my God! I remember the first snowstorm we had there. You were probably there. It was snow, ice.
Oh, ice!
Shut the whole place
down. Ice and snow are totally different things. Like for here, like an ice storm is like a disaster because they don't have the equipment. I mean, they have some equipment, but they don't have enough equipment like you have in Boston, in New England, or in the north.
I think they had 3 trucks in 1997.
Yeah.
Hope they have more than that.
And it's the
now.
plows. I mean, they have the spreaders. Like they try to pre-treat the streets here, so that does a pretty good number. But I remember coming home from Winthrop one time. We had a coaches show. We probably shouldn't have had the coaches show, but it started to ice up pretty bad. And there's a section of 77 in Rock Hill where you're leaving Rock Hill, and it goes a pretty steep decline, and then it goes to a pretty steep incline. And I just remember, I was kind of doing the old driver's ed. I was doing 10 and 2. I had the arms on the steering wheel.
You're doing the old Paul Sharp is in the front seat.
That's right. I was literally going about 35 on the interstate. Everybody around me was doing it, right? And then I'd never forget seeing the taillights looking up in the rearview mirror, and there was some idiot in a sports car, Florida plates, doing like 70 in the pass, in the left lane, and that guy didn't make it. He started that incline, and then he realized he was losing control. He put his brakes on, and then he went from he just slid, like he put his brakes on, and he slid all the way down. And as he was driving downhill, he kept like inching over, and he couldn't control it. And finally, he just went into the guardrail.
Is he all right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was. He was fortunate that by the time he kind of hit the straightaway, and it slowed him down a little bit. So it wasn't like a movie crash. It just kind of like he bumped into it, but it wasn't like it was. He was probably going like 5 miles an hour is still bad, but it wasn't like going in at like 30 miles an hour.
Well, incline, decline, 1 inch. Enough about the Joe Buck dilemma.
Yeah, right. It's a game of inches.
Game of inches. Another great podcast for you.
Yeah.
CLNS Media.
No, that was good. That was good. Good crossover synergy.
Very good crossover synergy.
It was kind of like when I tweeted out one of our the earlier version of this, which was still Life Without Sports, but it was on Instagram Live, and it wasn't. I don't think we could record it. So those, I don't know.
It didn't have the gravitas.
No, it didn't. It didn't have the gravitas that this has. Yeah. But I remember, like the second one we did, tweeting it out, and then Chach, who was of course producer for BC Football and produces like the Game of Inches, he like hijacks our thread to like, hey, how come you guys haven't done? We got all this time. How come you haven't done this? It's like, Chach, do this on your own time. Come on, man.
Chach.
Yeah.
Chach loves shake my hand, you shake yours.
Yeah.
It's no, I know. Hey, the Bearded Carcast as well.
That's right.
We're all sister podcasts, sister video.
The family of networks here.
Family of networks.
We could, that's not a bad idea. We could create the LWO Podcast Network. Yeah.
This is the mind of two men with way too much time.
I like it. I like it, Meat.
I like it though. I like it. This is how Bill Rasmussen started.
Yeah, he could start our own network. Yeah.
Started his own network. True story now, as we digress.
Yeah.
Bill Rasmussen, who started ESPN, as Mike knows, out of the wacky idea that he could broadcast Connecticut sports 24/7 because he lived right near Hartford. He wanted the UConn games on. He wanted the Hartford Whalers. He wanted every Connecticut sporting event.
Right. And he was like an anchor, wasn't he, on one of the Hartford stations?
I think at one point he might have been.
Yeah.
So he called up any number of people in the broadcasting business to be investors. One of those said people was one Steve Meterparel, my father.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I haven't told many people this story, but here you go. Life Without Sports viewers.
Yeah.
Must have been 1978.
Yeah.
Maybe 79.
Right.
My dad and his business partner who had Bill Rasmussen was on the line. He's like, hey, Steve. Hey, Neil. This got another guy named Neil Cortell. Bill Rasmussen, I want to meet with you guys about investing in a network that I have in mind. 24-hour Connecticut all sports, maybe eventually all national sports. And my dad was like, are you kidding me? Is this guy legitimate?
Yeah.
He told me he felt like it was almost like a sales call.
Yeah.
Whatever, any number of charities. But
wow.
So they had the meeting. And Rasmussen, I think, wanted something like $200,000.
Wow.
And they both looked at each other like,
there goes John's college fund.
Exactly. I don't even think I was 5 years old at the time.
Yeah.
It might not have been much anyway.
Right.
But they couldn't pull it off.
No, too bad. Man.
I know. As I said to
how different would your life be?
Correct. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Well,
Monday Night Football. You name it, the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
You know, every big event.
Yeah.
Little sports center here and there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That would have been all right.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. The nepotism rule might have been in effect, but
yeah.
Could have gotten by. But those are one of those great life what ifs.
Yeah.
We always talked about that.
That's a big what if. Wow.
And think about how wacky what Rasmussen had that idea. Everyone thought he was nuts.
Right. But, you know, that's the coming up at the right time, with the right idea, you know, in the right circumstances, you know?
Yeah.
Because cable had just kind of, like, I don't think we got, when I say we, I mean our family. I think Arlington had cable, like, 80, 81, but I don't think the Pacheco household got cable until, like, 1984, 1985.
I didn't get exactly. I didn't get it until 86.
My cousins had it early in Woburn. They had it, like, in maybe 78, 79.
That early.
They were ahead of the curve. I think maybe it was 1980, but I mean, it was pretty early on.
I used to go to my in Long Island. My aunt and uncle had. I thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't we have this yet?
Right.
You know, HBO was big back then.
Yeah,
you know, still is.
Still is.
They had boxing and
right.
Sporting events.
Boxing, yeah,
boxing with your boy Al Bernstein.
Yeah, Michael Buffer. Wasn't Michael Buffer? Didn't that help? That in Showtime, I think, got Michael Buffer going.
And I watched the Hagler-Hearns fight the other night.
Yeah.
Which is one of the classics.
Classic. Yeah, we got that on paper. No, was that on broadcast or was that a pay-per-view?
That was pay-per-view, but trivia question, who was doing the announcing? Who was the play-by-play broadcaster that night?
Oh, I can
The guy that's not known for boxing.
So it's not Jim Lampley.
No. Good guess.
Good guess. That's all I got.
The guy that is the voice of Sunday Night Football.
Really? Al Michaels.
Al Michaels.
I did not remember.
Al Michaels and Al Bernstein.
Al Bernstein, yeah. Jim Lampley.
And the host of the broadcast was Kurt Gowdy.
Kurt Gowdy. Yeah.
Kurt Gowdy.
No relation to Doug Gowdy.
I think it was
VB.
relation to VB.
No relation. Yeah. Although there is a story that when Doug's mom was in the hospital with one of there's like 8 Gowdys of the VB family, bunch of them. Yes. But I think at one time they were in the hospital together, and they spell it differently. So on one of the births, there was a
Goudie, right?
Yeah, right. So maybe VB was swapped at birth. I don't know.
Well, if I'm VB, I'm thinking, hey, you related to Kurt? Oh, yeah, I am. Yeah.
Well, it's spelled differently, but and that's the Dr. Ferdy Pacheco. For years, we talked about the Gowdys calling me that. They weren't alone. People called me the fight doctor. Asked me if I was. The big question was, are you related to Ferdy Pacheco? For the younger crowd, Ferdy Pacheco was a famous sports doctor. He was the doctor for Muhammad Ali. And he was always on, Howard Cosell loved Ferdy Pacheco. He mentioned him all the time. So when I was working on the Sports Babe show, one day we have Ferdy Pacheco in. I forget what fight it was. He was in talking about something. Or maybe he was doing a documentary. And I'll never forget this. Because I had to go. I was like the operations manager. So during the show, I didn't have as much to do. So I would do kind of the little stuff that had to be done. So it's like he's at the elevator. I'll go get him. I'll bring him in here. So we're walking toward the studio, and I said, "Hey, Ferdy, people always ask me, I said, I'm Pacheco. We pronounce it differently, but spelled the same. People always ask me if we're related. Kid, tell them I'm your uncle." So after that, I was like, all right. So a couple times, in fact, anytime now, actually, when someone says, "Hey, you related to Dr. Ferdy Pacheco?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's my uncle." I'm like, "What? Really?" It's like, yeah.
Mike, our good friend Mike Burnop asks you that all the time.
Burnop. Well, Burnop calls me Doc, the fight doctor. Like, hey, how's the fight doctor? One
of the voices of Virginia Tech. Yes.
Mike Burnop, we should probably try and get him on. He's like one of the all-time greats. I love him.
Well, what I'd love to do, and you're my technical advisor.
Yeah, we got to figure this out. Yeah,
a split screen with Burnop and Pete Cronin.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We might not have much. You and I would just take the day off.
Yeah, that would be just like, hey, it's Life Without Sports with Mike Burnop and Pete Cronin, guys.
Rip away.
How you doing today? All right, that was Life Without Sports. We'll be back again tomorrow. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe with Life Without Sports. Email us, lifewosports@gmail.com. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Pete would still be talking.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Thanks, Mike.
He'd have no idea.
No, the best.
He sent us a link. He sent us a link to a Washington Post story about him, of course.
Pete, the old linebacker? The All-American linebacker?
Cronin the Barbarian, they called him.
Did you have to pay for the archives for this, or was this like?
I have to send this to you. I forgot to send
it to me. Send it to me. I will talk about it.
You should have been on the. You should have been on that list. It's a peek inside the maniac world of Pete Cronin.
Nice. Well, that's what this world needs in a pandemic.
Yes. Mike Pacheco has always said this about Pete Cronin: no one holds his liquor better than the old linebacker.
Pete is one of the. He's one of the greats, and not. I knew you say that kind of jokingly, but
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But the point I'm trying to make is he's just so funny, and he's got so many stories. And now, if you've been around him long enough, you tend to tell the stories just as well as he does. But the life that guy has led, he was a star at BC, and then drafted by Seattle, played on some really good Redskins teams. Got a Super Bowl ring, and to this day, I actually, I think I probably told you this. I might even have the audio of this somewhere. But I interviewed Joe Gibbs, and I said, and I knew the answer to this, and I said, hey, I think I know the answer to this, but is it true that Pete Cronin is one of your all-time favorites? And he went on for like 10 minutes about how great Pete was, and he is. He's one of Pete Cronin is one of Joe Gibbs' favorite players.
Cronin is like the classic guy. If you wanted, Belichick would have loved him. Any coach would have loved Cronin because he did everything.
Yeah.
Between long snapping, between special teams, between dime linebacker, between covering kicks, he knew what it took to stick around.
Well, he was that combination
of a great player.
Well, he was a combination of athleticism, toughness, and smarts.
Right.
Yeah.
He
and he brings that into the broadcast booth. We were at Dykey Stadium in Northwestern. This was like 1993. If not for this loss at Northwestern, I think the Eagles, that game hurt, and then the West Virginia game hurt. But, I mean, BC theoretically could have been undefeated that year. But anyway.
The West Virginia game, I was there. It was awful.
Yeah. I think there was a fumble that cost us the Sugar Bowl.
It was David Green.
Well, I didn't want to name any names, but.
Sorry, Dave.
But I just remember.
Limitation.
And that stadium, I mean, it was like, I think like a WPA stadium from the 30s, like, Public Works Administration. And, Pete just like kind of, how big he is. He kind of like went like that. It turned his shoulders and like his left elbow went into, or I forget what, he was probably on the right end. So it was his right elbow and like just put a big hole in the wall. And it wasn't like he like slammed into it. I mean, it was just like he went like that. And,
it was an inverted elbow.
Grunkled, yeah. It was. He would have gotten a 2-minute minor in hockey for that. Wouldn't have been a major.
I would have loved to have seen his reaction.
Oh my God, that was fun.
Oh my God,
yeah.
And by the way, for those of you who are loyal BC football listeners on the IMG and Learfield Sports Network, Pete and I are coming up on our 200th career game.
Really?
200, Mike.
What game is that going to? Well, if the schedule plays out, what game is that?
That's what I'm not sure yet. It's I have to figure it out when and if we hear.
Yeah,
we will hear.
Tell me, because if I could be there, I'll try and get there.
That's pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You're frozen up on us, mate. There we go.
That's a pretty cool milestone.
No, it's a very cool milestone. Speaking of milestones, John. Yeah.
Yes.
Today is April.
My rotator cuff.
Yeah. Today is April 17th.
Yes, it is.
So we'd like to do a little.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah, we'd like to do a little as we probably need to get out soon. We tried to keep this to a reasonable time. Yesterday we went over an hour. We're not going to do that today. But this day in history,
it was like watching Ishtar.
I know. Yeah. Well, thank God it wasn't like The Irishman. It wasn't that long. One of your favorites, Meet, in 858. That's 858. Benedict III ends his reign as Pope.
Well, I was a big Francis fan and still remain a big Francis fan.
1964, the Ford Mustang is introduced. Yeah, good. Eggs Benedict. Yeah. The Ford Mustang was introduced on this day in 1964.
Ooh,
great car.
Earlier than that.
1970, Paul McCartney's first solo album, McCartney, debuts today. April 17th.
Interesting.
Game of Thrones.
What was on the flip side?
You know what? I didn't look that up. I meant to look that up, and then I looked up and I said, you know what? I got to talk to my man Meterparel here.
Yoko, I love you.
Yoko. Yeah, I don't think that was on there. And it was pre-Wings.
Pre-Wings. Yeah, that's McCartney was awesome in the Super Bowl in 2005 in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Everyone said, "Oh, he's too old. Why is he out there?" It was a great show.
Yeah, it was a good show, and he's still he's still rocking it, man. He's still doing good.
He's still pretty good.
Yeah, he's still pretty good. Seeing quickly if I can get the. Just give me the discography of this thing. Let's see. The
That's
Lovely
right.
Linda. That would be something. Every Night. Yeah. Junk. Mama Miss America. Oh, Maybe I'm Amazed was on that album.
That's the winner.
Yeah, there we go.
There's your winner.
There's your winner. So if you stayed for that, that's what that's what you get. Birthday. Oh, and we mentioned Game of Thrones. Were you a Game of Thrones guy? That debuted on this day in 2011.
Not a GOT guy. Yeah. Maybe in the pandemic here, I will try to dive into GOT, but haven't been able to do it.
So in 1820, Alexander Cartwright, who's considered to be one of the inventors of American baseball, was born on this day. J.P. Morgan, industrialist.
Happy birthday, Alexander.
Banker. Yeah, happy Alexander. Happy birthday. William Holden in 1918 was born on this day.
Bill Holden. There's another good name for you to use.
Jan Hammer. That's another good one to use.
I heard about Jan Hammer.
Jan Hammer. He was born on this day. Of course, Miami Vice theme. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Roddy Piper was born on this day. The wrestler, 1954. Now, this won't mean anything to you because you're not a...
Mr. Slim Jim or Roddy Piper.
In 1959, Sean Bean, who played Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, I was going to bring that into some synergy, but you wouldn't understand that reference. But
you were Tiger King. I can't talk Tiger King.
That's right. That's right. Game of Thrones. How about Boomer Esiason, born on this day in 1961?
Is it Norman Boomer Esiason's
Norman
birthday?
Boomer Esiason's birthday, yeah. Marquise Grissom was born on this day in 1967. Adam McKay,
underrated
director. He's done a lot of. I think Adam McKay, director. I think he was.
I know Adam.
The Charlie's Angels films.
I don't know Adam. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff.
Tony Baselli in 1972.
There you go.
One of your favorite Panther quarterbacks of all time, Jeff Lewis, was born on this day in 1973.
Jeff Lewis.
Yeah.
God, Northern Colorado or Arizona, one of those schools. Yeah. One of the worst quarterbacks I've seen in the NFL.
And, of course, your favorite Spice Girl, Victoria Beckham, was born on this day in 1974.
You call her Vicky.
Yeah.
Yes, Vicky. I wonder how Vicky and David celebrate.
Check out your channel.
Take a bow.
Hey, emails are on there. Life WO, that's an O, not a 0. Life Without Sports is what it stands for. lifewosports@gmail.com. So if you want to email us, anything that you've seen so far, give it a rip. And don't forget to subscribe. It's a new channel, so we need to get those subscribers up. Can't go any lower than 0. So actually, I think Ben subscribed. So.
Oh, Ben is definitely a
Ben's subscribing. I'll subscribe. We just put this channel together, so.
John Pacheco will subscribe.
Yeah,
Paul Sharp, we're looking for you.
Yeah, Paul Sharp, are you there?
Are you there, Paul? Is this thing on?
Yeah. Charlotte, North Carolina. Hello.
Go. Hello. DJ Stout, Steve Ciaccio.
Yeah.
Friends of.
Yeah, we're calling you out.
FOMs.
Yeah.
Friends of mine.
Shea Griffin, Mark Yarborough. All the greats.
Exactly. We're calling you out, man.
Yeah.
Just push that little subscribe button.
That's right.
Something's in it for you. Maybe it's up to our set when we call that movie.
Yeah, you can come to my backyard here. I'll just get out of the way.
Hey. And you know what, Mike? We have some good things coming next week as we get set to wrap up a Freeform Friday. We have a special blockbuster edition coming early next week with a Hollywood star.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
We will address on Monday, and it will be on Tuesday, more than likely. He will drop by, and then we will have some other special guests as well next week that we're working on. So, once again, man, an award-winning edition.
Yes, sir.
And enjoy your weekend in quarantine.
Yeah, it's your quarantine.
Dramatically.
Yeah, your quarantine edition, I guess, right?
The quarantine edition. Maybe we'll bring on a weekend edition of one of these things if we're really bored. But
actually, well, you know what we'll do is we'll put Ben on putting together the best of highlights that we can run on the weekend.
That I like.
He's, I think we start off with too high a title for him. I think he should be our intern first before we give him producer and executive
Turn
credits.
Benny.
But.
And then, my other son Nick is like, he's off doing probably playing Fortnite. He could care less.
He's doing NBA 2K.
He's got NBA 2K, something.
Yeah.
He's a really smart kid. So maybe
I hope
he's reading, but he's probably not.
No, he's watching comedy videos on YouTube on the Xbox or whatever you guys have, PlayStation.
Oh, he's not watching those Joe Buck videos. That's for another show.
That's for another show. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Mike Pacheco. Have a great weekend.
See you, everybody.